A very good evening and welcome. Today is the 26th of January 2026. This is a brand new edition of Newsfirst Primetime News coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing you tonight's bulletin for the Newsfirst team, I am Gammadda.
And I am Shalini Ratnavira. Let's take a look at your top stories for tonight.
Newsfirst Headlines. Main sponsor.
For hardware, b2b.lk.
Why was the Deputy Secretary General of Parliament, Kularatne, suspended? Namal summoned by the CID. Shiranti by the FCID. Namal requests a one-week extension. India celebrates its 77th Republic Day. Sri Lanka records a record-breaking income from exports in the past year.
Newsfirst Headlines. Main sponsor.
For safety items, b2b.lk.
On to tonight's top story. The 6 officers of the Gammadda Divisional Crime Investigation Bureau who were arrested in connection with the alleged assault on a Catholic priest have been remanded until the 29th. This order was issued when the case was called today before the Gammadda Chief Magistrate, Silani Pereira.
The magistrate ordered that the suspect police officers to be produced for an identification parade on the 29th of January. President's counsel Nabil Ratna, appearing on behalf of the Catholic priest, informed the court that the priest is still hospitalized and undergoing treatment for the alleged assault. The suspect police officers were arrested yesterday following a complaint lodged by the priest. After being produced before the Gammadda acting magistrate Amarani Mudalige, they were remanded until today. According to the police media spokesperson, officers from the Gammadda Division Crimes Investigation Bureau had signalled a motorcycle travelling from Kirindibita towards Udugampola on Saturday night to stop. The spokesperson stated that when the motorcycle allegedly ignored the command, the officers gave chase and eventually intercepted the vehicle. Following the arrest of the 33-year-old priest who was on the motorcycle, an altercation had broken out between the two parties. The police media spokesperson further noted that the priest subsequently admitted himself to the Negombo hospital, claiming that he had been assaulted by the police officers.
The collection of signatures for a public petition urging the President to remove the Attorney General took place today opposite the Fort Railway Station.
A representative group from civil organizations held a protest in front of the Fort Railway Station this afternoon, expressing their opposition to the conduct of the Attorney General. Following the protest, the group gathered signatures for a public petition demanding the removal of the Attorney General and the establishment of an independent office of the public prosecutor.
There are individuals in key points of this administration who are hindering the democracy the country expected. We have urged the executive and the responsible ministers to remove them and hand over those duties to individuals capable of fulfilling them. We have personally notified the Attorney General as well. We informed them regarding the damages caused to legal proceedings, irregularities in court cases, and the corruption and malpractice occurring within the Attorney General's department. However, no one responded. Throughout the recent past, the people were simply told to remain patient, but no appropriate steps were taken. If anyone claims that this is an attempt to topple the government or a request to hand over power to those lost in the opposition, they are completely wrong.
The Chief of Staff and Deputy Secretary General of Parliament, Kularatne, was suspended from his duties last Friday.
This has become a hot topic today as the opposition has voiced their opposition against Kularatne's suspension, making this one of the main topics on political platforms. But what is the real story behind this suspension?
What is the incident?
Chaminda Kumara Kularatne was suspended from his duties as the Chief of Staff and Deputy Secretary General of Parliament with effect from the 23rd of January 2026. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa immediately responded to Kularatne's suspension, vehemently opposing it. Excerpt.
Audi alteram partem. Hear the other side. In any democracy, officials are given a hearing before they are punished. The Speaker interdicting the Deputy Secretary General without even giving a hearing sets a dangerous precedent and makes it feel very personal in nature. This is very concerning, and I will be strongly registering my protest in Parliament on this issue.
End of excerpt. Today, Udaya Gammampila expressed his views in support of the opposition leader's statement.
Dinapata Nadagam Rangapamin රටට වීලු සපේන මාලිමා ආණ්ඩුවේ අලුත්ම ප්‍රේසනය තමයි කතානායක කෝලම. කතානායකවරයා
The latest comedic episode of the government, which provides humour to the country by performing dramas on a daily basis, is the Speaker's joke. The Speaker has written a new story, and for the first time in history, a Deputy Secretary General of Parliament has been suspended. Through that suspension, the Speaker has once again demonstrated his ignorance. First of all, the disciplinary authority of the Deputy Secretary General is the Secretary General, not the Speaker. Therefore, the Speaker has no power to suspend the Deputy Secretary General. Secondly, an allegation should be made against an officer who is being suspended, and a preliminary investigation should be conducted into that allegation. However, no preliminary investigation has been conducted regarding the suspended Deputy Secretary General, Chaminda Kularatne. Thirdly, when the Speaker receives a request for information under the Right to Information Act regarding the appointment of the Deputy Secretary General, he assigns a retired Additional Secretary to investigate the matter. This suspension is based on the report submitted by that retired Additional Secretary. But it is not a preliminary investigation. It is only a collection of information.
ගුණම ඒ කාරණේ පිළිබඳ කරුණු සොයා බලන්න විශ්‍රාමික අතිරේක ලේකම්වරයෙකුට පවරනවා. ඒ විශ්‍රාමික අතිරේක ලේකම්වරයා ඉදිරිපත් කරපු වාර්තාව පදනම් කරගෙන තමයි මේ වැඩතානම සිද්ධ කරන්නේ. හැබැයි ඒක මූලික විමර්ශනයක් නෙවෙයි, තොරතුරු සොයා බැලීමක් පමණයි.
Was the suspension order issued by the Speaker?
On the 23rd of January 2026, Chaminda Kumara Kularatne was informed that he had been suspended from his duties in a letter issued to him bearing the signature of the Secretary General of Parliament, Kushani Rohanadira. The letter is issued on the letterhead of the Secretary General of Parliament. If so, how can it be said that the Speaker was the one who issued the suspension order?
Was the suspension a decision made by a single individual?
In the letter issued to Chaminda Kumara Kularatne, the Secretary General of Parliament has explained how the decision was taken and the reasons for suspending him. The letter states that this decision was taken by the Parliamentary Staff Advisory Committee that convened on the 23rd of January 2026. In addition to the Speaker, the committee also includes the Leader of the House, the Leader of the Opposition, the Minister of Finance or his representative, and the Secretary General of Parliament. On the day when the decision was made to suspend Chaminda Kumara Kularatne, the Speaker, Leader of the House Minister Bimal Ratnayake, Chief Opposition Whip Gayantha Karunatilaka representing the Leader of the Opposition, Deputy Finance Minister Anil Jayantha representing the Minister of Finance, and Secretary General of Parliament Kushani Rohanadira were present. So how can this be the decision of a single individual?
What is the reason for his suspension?
The reason for the letter sent by the Secretary General of Parliament to Chaminda Kumara Kularatne is very clear. Excerpt.
The latest comedic episode of the government, which provides humour to the country by performing dramas on a daily basis, is the Speaker's joke. The Speaker has written a new story, and for the first time in history, a Deputy Secretary General of Parliament has been suspended. Through that suspension, the Speaker has once again demonstrated his ignorance. First of all, the disciplinary authority of the Deputy Secretary General is the Secretary General, not the Speaker. Therefore, the Speaker has no power to suspend the Deputy Secretary General. Secondly, an allegation should be made against an officer who is being suspended, and a preliminary investigation should be conducted into that allegation. However, no preliminary investigation has been conducted regarding the suspended Deputy Secretary General, Chaminda Kularatne. Thirdly, when the Speaker receives a request for information under the Right to Information Act regarding the appointment of the Deputy Secretary General, he assigns a retired Additional Secretary to investigate the matter. This suspension is based on the report submitted by that retired Additional Secretary. But it is not a preliminary investigation. It is only a collection of information.
End of excerpt.
Was an initial investigation conducted?
In the middle of last year, a person named S. Nandanan had requested information from Parliament regarding its Chief of Staff and Deputy Secretary General under the Right to Information Act. The information was provided to the relevant person. However, at the meeting of the Parliamentary Staff Advisory Committee held on the 25th of July 2025, it was revealed that the information released in this way and the information contained in Chaminda Kumara Kularatne's personnel file were contradictory. Accordingly, it is the Parliamentary Staff Advisory Committee that had decided to conduct an investigation and look into this matter. A letter was issued on the 20th of August 2025 stating that Attorney at Law S.K. Lianage, a former Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Local Government and Provincial Councils, would be appointed for this purpose. The letter clearly states that this appointment is being made to conduct a preliminary investigation and submit a report. So, can it be stated that a preliminary investigation was not conducted? What did the Lianage Committee report reveal? On the 7th of June 2023, applications were invited for the position of Chief of Staff and Deputy Secretary General of Parliament as it was vacant. On the 8th of September 2023, 6 individuals were called for interviews. Chaminda Kumara Kularatne, who was the Secretary to the Chief Government Whip of the then government and an Additional Secretary to the Presidential Secretariat, was selected as the suitable candidate.
Who conducted the interview?
The investigation report states that the then Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abeyewardena, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, Leader of the House Susil Premachand, Opposition Leader Sajid Premadasa, Chief Opposition Whip Lakshman Kiriyalla and Secretary General of Parliament Kushani Rohanadira were on the interview panel. According to the Lianage Investigation Committee report, the scores given to Chaminda Kumara Kularatne for having worked in the Judicial Service or the Attorney General's Department was a reason for him to get higher scores. However, the preliminary investigation report has revealed that Kularatne has not gained a single day of such experience.
What else was revealed in the report?
The Chief of Staff and Deputy Secretary General of Parliament were appointed subject to a probationary period of 3 years. However, a person who has been confirmed in a pensionable position in the public service is entitled to a probationary period of less than 1 year. Chaminda Kumara Kularatne, who was working as the Secretary to the Chief Government Whip of the ruling party on a contract basis, should have been appointed to the post of Chief of Staff and Deputy Secretary General subject to a probationary period of 3 years. However, he had been confirmed in that post after just 1 year. Therefore, the initial investigation report indicates that the appointment was not legal. During the investigations, Chaminda Kumara Kularatne had stated that the position he held as Secretary to the Chief Government Whip of the ruling party was a pensionable one. However, it has been revealed during the investigation that a request Kularatne made by sending a letter to the Director General of Pensions to add the period he was on contract to his pensionable service period was rejected. Accordingly, the investigating officer points out in his report that Chaminda Kumara Kularatne was aware that the position he had previously held was not a pensionable position. It has also been revealed during this investigation that Chaminda Kumara Kularatne was not given a letter of appointment for the position of Chief of Staff and Deputy Secretary General of Parliament. Kularatne stated that he met with Secretary General of Parliament Kushani Rohanadira on the 15th of November 2023 and she instructed him in writing to assume the position on that day. However, the Secretary General has stated during the investigation that she did not give Kularatne such a written notice. Even though Chaminda Kumara Kularatne stated that he had a letter provided by the Secretary General of Parliament and that he would present it, he has not done so. The preliminary investigation report indicates that his statements were considered false and therefore dismissed. The preliminary investigation report also states that although the monthly starting salary was stated as 98,650 rupees in the call for applications for the relevant position, Kularatne had received a salary of more than 104,500 rupees, which was the salary he had received in his previous position.
Who is Chaminda Kumara Kularatne?
Kularatne served in the following positions in the past: 2005 to 2010. He held several positions at the Bank of Ceylon and served as an assistant secretary in the Presidential Secretariat. 2010. He served as a senior assistant secretary in the Presidential Secretariat. August 2010 to December 2013. He served in a position at the Sri Lankan High Commission in London, December 2013 to January 2015. He once again served as a senior assistant secretary at the Presidential Secretariat, May 2015 to October 2018. He served at the High Commission of the Republic of Cyprus in London, November 13, 2018 to January 21st, 2019. He served as an additional secretary in the Prime Minister's office, January 22, 2019 to November 26, 2019. He served as an additional secretary in the office of the Leader of the Opposition, November 27, 2019 to February 7, 2022. Once again, he served in the Prime Minister's office in the position of Additional Secretary. Meanwhile, he has also served as the Secretary to the Chief Government Whip of Parliament. From the 8th of February 2022 until his appointment in Parliament, he served as the Additional Secretary to the Presidential Secretariat. When these appointments are closely examined, is it not possible to understand the connections between the interventions of powerful politicians at that time and these relevant appointments? It is against this background that Chaminda Kumara Kularatne's duties as the Chief of Staff and Deputy Secretary General of Parliament have been suspended. For your attention. Meanwhile, several high-profile investigations and judicial proceedings involving prominent political figures are scheduled to take place over the coming days. Shiranti Rajapaksa, the wife of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, has been summoned to the Financial Crimes Investigation Division, or the FCID, tomorrow to record a statement. This pertains to an ongoing investigation into financial irregularities involving the Sirasa account, which was maintained during Mahinda Rajapaksa's presidency. The investigation into this matter was originally initiated by the FCID during the government of good governance, during which her statements were recorded at the Speaker's official residence. The case against former President Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is currently out on bail over allegations of using 16.6 million rupees in public funds for a private foreign trip, is scheduled to be called up again the day after tomorrow. On the 19th of November, Additional Solicitor General Dilip Apiris informed the Fort Magistrates Court that investigations into this case would be concluded within a month and charges would be filed in a higher court. This notification was made when a motion filed by former Presidential Secretary Saman Ekanaika requesting permission to travel abroad was taken up. The Criminal Investigation Department has already recorded several statements in England regarding this investigation. Meanwhile, the national organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Namal Rajapaksa, was summoned to the CID today to be questioned regarding his alleged links with organised criminal Gammadda Padme. However, he has requested a one-week extension to appear. Namal Rajapaksa is currently on a visit to India with a group of opposition members of parliament.
An event marking the 77th Republic Day of India was organised by the Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology in India. National organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Namal Rajapaksa, attended the event as its chief guest.
The Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology in India organised an event marking the 77th Republic Day of the country. Several members of the parliament from the Samagishana Balawegya, along with former SLPP MPs Indika Anuruddha, Sanjeev Edirimanna, Sampath Attukorala and Political Bureau member Milinda Rajapaksa also participated in the event following an invitation from the Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology in India. Speaking at the event, national organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Namal Rajapaksa, expressed his views on the relationship between the two countries.
Sri Lanka and India, situated in the Bay of Bengal, are bound by the history culture, and memory so deeply that there is hardly a line of separation. On such connection is the Ram Ravana Trail, linking legend, imagination, and memory across the ocean. It reminds us that this sea has always carried ideas, not just people. Friends, Indian Ocean region is one of the most strategically important regions in the world today. As the global balance of power shifts, many countries are turning inward. Politics everywhere is being tested by inequality, misinformation, polarization, and economic instability. To emerge stronger, we must move away from strategies of dominancy or dependency and embrace shared understanding, shared responsibility, and shared prosperity. The path we choose will decide whether this region becomes a stage of conflict or a platform for coexistence.
India marked its 77th Republic Day today, a moment of profound national pride, commemorating the adoption of the Constitution of India on the 26th of January 1950, the day the nation became a sovereign democratic republic.
Grand celebrations unfolded at the Karthavya Path in New Delhi, where tradition, culture and strength converged in a spectacular showcase of India's identity. The day began with Prime Minister Narendra Modi visiting the National War Memorial, where he paid tribute to the fallen soldiers who laid down their lives in service of the nation. The Republic Day parade commenced as President Draupadi Murmu took the salute shortly after arriving at Karthavya Path in a traditional buggy, accompanied by the event's chief guests, President of the European Council Antonio Costa and President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen, who were flanked by the Indian President's bodyguards. The President of the European Council and the President of the European Commission graced the Independent Republic Day celebration as chief guests.
Arriving here, our foreign friends, our foreign dignitaries and special invitees here to celebrate along with us.
In keeping with tradition, the national flag was hoisted and the national anthem was sung, marking the formal start of the celebrations, followed by a 21-gun salute. Was a vibrant cultural showcase reflecting India's extraordinary diversity. Colorful tableaus from across the country highlighted the nation's rich heritage, classical folk dances, ancient traditions, tribal art, festivals and architectural marvels. From the rhythms of rural India to the elegance of classical forms, the parade narrated a compelling story of unity in diversity, reminding the world that India's strength lies in its many cultures standing together as one. Equally striking was the display of India's military might and preparedness. Disciplined contingents from the Army, Navy and Air Force marched with precision, showcasing cutting-edge weapon systems, indigenous defense technology and modern combat capabilities. Fighter jets thundered across the sky in perfectly synchronized flypasts, symbolizing India's growing self-reliance in defense and its unwavering commitment to safeguarding national sovereignty. In a special moment, President Draupadi Murmu conferred the Ashoka Chakra, India's highest peacetime gallantry award, upon Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla of the Indian Air Force for his exceptional bravery during the Axiom 4 mission.
The Indian High Commission in Colombo marked the 77th Republic Day with the unfurling of the Indian flag this morning.
Earlier this morning, High Commissioner Santosh Jha unfurled the Tiranga amidst a gathering of Indian diaspora.
Let it float! Promises!
During the event, High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, presented extracts of the address of the President of India, Srimati Draupadi Murmu.
India is the world's fastest growing major economy. Despite global uncertainties, India is recording continuous economic growth. We are moving towards achieving our goal of becoming the world's third largest economy in the near future. By investing in the creation of world-class infrastructure, we are rebuilding our economic strength at a much larger scale. In this journey of shaping our economic destiny, Atmanirbharta and Swadeshi are guiding principles. The most important decision for the economic integration of the country after independence, the implementation of GST, has established the system of one nation, one market. The recent decisions to make the GST system even more effective will further strengthen our economy. Today, more than half of the world's digital transactions take place in India. From buying goods at the smallest shop to paying for an auto rickshaw ride, the use of digital payments has become an impressive example for the global community. I hope that all citizens will actively participate in achieving other national goals in a similar manner.
The event is part of a series of celebrations held across the island, including cultural programs.
Still in related news, a reception organized by the High Commission of India to celebrate the 77th Republic Day of India is currently underway at the India House in Colombo. The event is being held under the patronage of Minister Dr. Nalanda and is being attended by several prominent political leaders, including Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, former Presidents Mahinda Rajapaksa, Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Maithripala Sirisena, along with members of Parliament from both the government and the opposition. Members of the diplomatic corps, including the ambassadors from China, Russia and Japan, are amongst others present at the event.
Gammadda Care and Dare, dedicated to rebuilding the lives of our people affected by the cyclone Ditwa, operated continuously for 3 days in the Badulla district. On its third day, the Care and Dare program was successfully held at the Dirumbela Purana Raja Mahavihara in Gammadda.
Over many days, the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra carried out emergency relief services for those affected by Cyclone Ditwa. The next vital step was the long-term restoration of these affected lives. To achieve this, Gammadda Care and Dare was launched with the generous contribution of Australia's Minderoo Foundation, one of the world's largest philanthropic organizations. The second phase of this mission operated continuously for 3 days, centered in the Badulla district. Following the first day at the Passara Central College last Saturday and the second day at the Madul Sima Tamil Mahavidyalaya, the third day was successfully held today at the Dirumpula Purana Rajamahaviharaya in Gammadda. Today, a wide range of services were provided to the public, including legal advice, reissuance of lost national identity cards and missing documents, vocational guidance, psychological counselling, and the distribution of essential food items. The program was implemented with the full blessings of the chief incumbent of the Dirumpula Purana Rajamahaviharaya, Venerable Palle Bovela Nyananda Thero.
වෙනදා යම්කිසි විපතක් සිදු වුණාම තමන්ගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් සඳහා මුදලින් කරගන්නට තියෙන දේවල් සියල්ලම ගම්මැද්ද වැඩසටහන මගින් ඒ කාර්ය මණ්ඩලයේ මගින් ඒ ජනතාවට නොමිලේ ලබා දීම පිළිබඳව අපේ පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනාව මේ අවස්ථාවේදී පුද කරනවා.
The Gammadda team, led by Yasarat Kamal Siri, CEO of MTV Channel Private Limited and Deputy Leader of Gammadda, joined the operation today as well. They were accompanied by several guests, including Gammadda Divisional Secretary Sunath Jinendra Sena, Assistant Divisional Secretary Milinda Ratnayaka, and Sri Lanka Air Force Squadron Leader Dr. Akila Vijay Sena. The Gammadda Divisional Secretary expressed his views about the Gammadda Care and Dare program.
මේ ජනතාව මුණ දුන්න මේ සුලිකුණාටුවේ පසුතත්ත්වය අපිට කළමනාකරණය කරගන්නට රජයක් විදිහට මා හිතනවා අපිට තනියෙන් මේ කටයුත්තට උර දෙන්නට බෑ. සමාජ වගකීමක් විදිහට මේ රටේ සියලු පුරවැසියන්ට මම හිතනවා ශක්තියක් වෙන්නට අවස්ථාව තියෙනවා. මා දකින්නේ මේ අවස්ථාවක් විදිහට තමයි ගම්මැද්ද වැඩසටහන තුල අපේ ප්‍රදේශයේ ජනතාවට යම් සහනයක් සැලසීමට කටයුතු කිරීම.
A health zone supported by the Ministry of Health and the Sri Lanka Air Force. A nutrition zone distributing packs for pregnant mothers and young children. A sanitation zone providing hygiene kits for both men and women. An essential goods zone for dry rations and equipment. A household zone distributing water filters and gas cookers were operational at the Dirumpula Purana Rajamahaviharaya.
මේ වැඩසටහන ඉදිරියට කරගෙන යාම සම්බන්ධයෙන් ගම්බැද්දට තව ශක්තිය ධෛර්යය ලැබේවා.
මේ කරගෙන යන වැඩපිළිවෙල 100%ක් හොඳයි කියලා ස්ථාවරේ මම ඉන්න කෙනෙක්. දෙවියන් වහන්සේගේ ආශිර්වාදයක් මට ලැබෙන්නේ මේ ගම්බැද්ද වැඩසටහනට මට ආපු එක හිතනකොට. ඒ තරම් මට කම්පැනි මම ජීවත් වෙන්නේ. මට ඊට වඩා කියන්න ඉස්සුලා නැහැ.
අපිට ගොඩාක් මේ දේ කරාට වටිනවා. අපි වගේ අසරණ අයට ඔබතුමාලා හැමතිස්සෙම පිහිට වෙන බව මම සිරසෙමුත් හැම වෙලාවෙම බලනවා.
Yasarat Kamal Siri, CEO of MTV Channel Private Limited and Deputy Leader of Gammadda, shared his thoughts on the Care and Dare initiative.
අපි මෙතුලින් බලාපොරොත්තු වන්නේ ඔබ සියලු දෙනාගේ ජීවිතය යථා තත්ත්වයට පත් කරන්නට අවශ්‍ය සහාය ලබා දෙන්න. රිකවරි කියන කොටස සම්පූර්ණ කරගන්න. අපේ මීළඟ අරමුණ තමයි ගම්මැද Care and Dare වැඩසටහන තුලින් රීබිල්ඩ් කියලා. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔබේ ජීවිතය යලි ගොඩනගන්නට අවශ්‍ය සහාය ලබා දෙන එක. ඉතින් තව නොබෝ දිනකින් ඒ කොටසත් අපි පටන් ගන්නවා.
A legal services zone was also established with the support of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, alongside a specialized zone for certificates, documents and ID services. The National Apprentice and Industrial Training Authority, or NITA, also partnered today to provide essential vocational guidance for those looking to rise again. We must be strong. Let us leave the sorrow in the past. We shall rise. We can do it. Together we protect, together we rise. Gammadda, for the people, by the people.
Newsfirst, with the people.
For hardware, b2b.lk.
Welcome back to the news. In more local news, despite all advancements, technology must ultimately serve human beings. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya made this statement while attending the ceremony to officially open the centenary building at Nalanda College in line with the school's 100th anniversary.
The first phase of the centenary building at Nalanda College, Colombo, was officially opened today as part of the celebration marking 100 years of the institution. The event was held under the patronage of Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya.
We are at a very critical moment in our world history where it is becoming almost impossible to predict what the world will look like in 5 years, in 10 years' time. The way in which technology is moving, the way in which technology is changing is almost impossible for us to anticipate or predict or to plan for. This is one of the biggest challenges that we all face. In that sense, those of us who are in the education sector have a profound responsibility. That responsibility is to make sure that future generations are prepared and are ready to meet the challenges of that very unpredictable future. We need to really understand this moment, and we need to really prepare our young people to face this moment. And what is needed is that ability to identify problems, solve problems, be creative, be innovative, and most of all, be human-centric. Even though we are thinking of a future that is full of technology, AI, cybersecurity, digital, all kinds of things, I don't even know the terms to use. However, do not forget that ultimately technology has to serve human beings. Technology has to solve human problems.
Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya toured the model STEM lab within the new building. Former Sri Lankan cricketer Mahela Jayawardena also expressed his views at the event.
Today we are not just talking about education, we are talking about transformation. STEM is more than a learning method. It is an interdisciplinary approach that removes traditional walls between subjects. While STEM builds technical skills, STEAM goes further, integrating the arts, encouraging creativity, innovation, and human-centered problem solving. Because in today's world, knowledge alone is not enough. Students must be thinkers, creators, collaborators, and leaders. We develop communication, teamwork, leadership, and confidence, the soft skills demanded by the global workforce. We empower students with emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and encourage them to think innovatively and entrepreneurially from a younger age. Our curriculum is practical and skill-based. Students work on real-world challenges, collaborate in teams, and learn how to present and pitch their ideas professionally. Our goal is not to just create employees. We aim to create innovators. We aim to create entrepreneurs. We aim to create leaders. Success for us means national recognition, patent ideas, and students-led startups. And we go one step further by connecting these young founders with innovators to turn their ideas into reality.
As part of the centenary celebrations, a commemorative stamp was issued and the first day cover was presented to the Prime Minister.
ගරු අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමිය වෙත මුල් දින කවරේ සහ සමරු මුද්දරය පිළිගන්වනා ඇති.
The event was organized by the Old Boys Association, the Old Senior Prefects Guild and the Old Nalanda Sports Club.
In some business news, let's take a look at Sri Lanka's export earnings in 2025.
Sri Lanka's export sector has recorded total export earnings exceeding $17.2 billion during the past year. This marks an annual growth rate of 5.6%. The Export Development Board said Sri Lanka's export sector has maintained a strong and steady growth rate over the past year.
Sri Lanka Customs celebrated International Customs Day today, joining the global customs community under the auspices of the World Customs Organization.
The celebration serves to recognize the vital role of customs in maintaining global trade, border security and social protection. This year's global theme, as declared by the WCO, is Customs Protecting Society Through Vigilance and Commitment. The 2026 theme emphasizes the tireless dedication of customs officials in safeguarding the public from illicit trade while ensuring the seamless flow of legitimate commerce. Speaking at the event, Director General of Sri Lanka Customs, Sivaliarukkuda, highlighted Sri Lanka Customs' record-breaking revenue collection in 2025.
In 2025, Sri Lanka Customs collected 2,257 billion rupees in revenue, surpassing the national target set for this department, that is 2,231 billion, thereby recording the highest ever revenue collection in the history of the department. While motor vehicles remain the primary revenue contributor, the revenues from other cargo, general cargo, has also increased by 18% last year. Direct revenue contributions from enforcement activities also reached to 32 billion, reflecting a 10% increase over the previous. Equally significant has been our role in protecting society. The Memorandum of Understanding signed this month between Sri Lanka Customs and the Department of Inland Revenue on data sharing and parallel audits and investigations will further strengthen national revenue protection by deterring willful offenders engaged in undervaluation and overvaluation of commercial cargo. The year 2026 presents new challenges and greater responsibilities. Sri Lanka Customs has been entrusted with a national revenue target of 2,207 billion this year, which we are very much confident of achieving. Our primary strategic objective this year is the full digitalization of remaining manual procedures in line with the government policy, ensuring faster service delivery, greater transparency, enhanced efficiency and reduced face-to-face interaction. We are also advancing plans to establish a state-of-the-art examination yard at Kerawala, targeted for completion by 2027. This will reduce physical examinations from 40% to 10%, easing port congestion and supporting the growth of trade volume.
Minister of Labour and Deputy Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Anil Jayanta, also expressed his views.
Customs is perceived, especially in Sri Lankan context, is a place where that generates or collects revenue for the government. But I strongly believe that the role of custom goes beyond that. It connects to your border protections and social security and so many other areas as well. The Sri Lankan custom is really doing these tasks in addition to collecting revenue. Our vigilance is highly commendable, and we have seen that in many cases, especially drugs and other things, how they have been carefully mastered.
The minister also elaborated on the future plans in the pipeline for Sri Lanka Customs.
So digitalization, the task, so whereas you would be able to expedite your task and increase your efficiency, sometimes even your containers or the other vessels that reach your deck. So that is in process. In addition, one of the pending thing is the national single window. That project is also nearing. We will be doing these things in the future, but we need some more time because we are navigating the country with kind of difficulties. And of course, now we have stabilized the economy, but we need to have sustainable and inclusive economic growth and resilient economic growth to face these kind of things.
The event was attended by high-ranking government officials and members of the diplomatic corps, including the Deputy Minister of Economic Development, Nishantha Jayawira, and several others.
The Pathfinder Foundation today inaugurated the repository for Sri Lanka Peace Initiatives.
The Pathfinder Foundation inaugurated the repository for Sri Lanka Peace Initiatives to preserve and consolidate documentation related to efforts to resolve the country's separatist conflict. The repository was inaugurated by Erik Solheim, former Norwegian Special Envoy to Sri Lanka's peace process and former Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme, at the invitation of Pathfinder Foundation founder Milinda Morogoda and Chairman Bernard Gudathilaka. With this initiative, the Pathfinder Foundation will collect and preserve relevant material from local and international sources, creating a comprehensive resource for researchers, policymakers and the public.
The 50th school to be renovated under the LOLC You, Me, Our Nation social welfare program was officially handed over to the students today. The 22nd day of this initiative was dedicated to the Kandy, Badulla and Kegol districts.
The renovated facilities at Garagoda Muslim Vidyalaya in Kegol were officially handed over to the students this morning. Several constructions at Risikala Vidyalaya in Kandy and Spring Valley Primary Tamil Vidyalaya in Badulla were also vested in the students this morning. Hewahatta Central College in Kandy and Valluvar Tamil Vidyalaya in Badulla are two more schools that benefited from the You, Me, Our Nation program. The constructions at Makehilwala Junior School and Baminiwatna Mahavidyalaya in Kegol were also handed over to the students today.
In international news, the price of gold has risen above $5,000 an ounce for the first time ever, extending a historic rally that saw the precious metal jump by more than 60% in 2025. It comes as tensions between the US and NATO over Greenland have added to growing concerns about financial and geopolitical uncertainty. US President Donald Trump's trade policies have also worried markets. On Saturday, he threatened to impose a 100% tariff on Canada if it strikes a trade deal with China. Gold and other precious metals are seen as so-called safe haven assets that investors buy in times of uncertainty. On Friday, silver topped $100 an ounce for the first time, building on its almost 150% rise last year. Demand for precious metals has also been driven by a range of other factors, including higher than usual inflation, the weak US dollar, buying by central banks around the world, and as the US Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates again this year. Wars in Ukraine and Gaza, as well as Washington seizing Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, have also helped push up the price of gold.
A dangerous winter storm has swept across the United States, leaving at least 7 people dead and cutting power to hundreds of thousands of homes.
Schools and roads across the country have been closed and flights have been cancelled as life-threatening conditions stretched from Texas to New England, according to the National Weather Service. At least 2 people died of hypothermia in Louisiana, and other deaths linked to the storm have been reported in Texas, Tennessee and Kansas. As of Sunday afternoon, more than 800,000 households had lost power. Meanwhile, more than 11,000 flights were cancelled. Widespread heavy snow, sleet and freezing rain, which is a dangerous phenomenon where cooled rain droplets freeze instantly on surfaces, could last for days, and the storm could affect around 180 million Americans, more than half the population. The mayor of Austin, Texas, said there had been an exposure-related death. Officials in Kansas said a woman whose body was found on Sunday afternoon covered in snow may have succumbed to hypothermia. Weather-related deaths of 3 people have also been reported in Tennessee. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani wrote in a post on X that at least 5 people in the city had died on Saturday, but added their cause of death was yet to be determined. He said, however, quote-unquote, it is a reminder that every year New Yorkers succumbed to the cold. New York State Governor warned residents to stay inside and off roads. Nearly half the states have declared emergencies, and schools across the country are already cancelling classes in anticipation of the storm continuing. The US Senate has also scrapped a scheduled vote for Monday evening. The third one-day international cricket match between Sri Lanka and England will be held tomorrow at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo.
Both teams have won 1 game each in the 3-match series. As a result, tomorrow's victory is decisive for both sides to clinch the series.
Joe Root scored runs in the first match as well. He will be a major factor. However, I believe if we get our basics right and set up a solid platform, we can win comfortably. Wanindu will be playing in tomorrow's match. It is not like it used to be. Most countries have now adapted to playing bowlers well and are used to facing more spin. Previously, there was a notion that those teams couldn't play spin. But now, they play well even on spinning tracks. It is a neck and neck battle, and I think there will be a great fight in tomorrow's match.
Players from both teams took part in their final practice sessions today ahead of the match. Tomorrow's match is scheduled to begin at 2:30 p.m.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.